It's the Popcorn Kernel. I'm reviewing one of my favorite independent platformer games, Stealth Inc. 2, a game of clones. I haven't been this excited since Leonardo DiCaprio died in Titanic. Stealth Inc. 2 is a brilliantly brutal side-scrolling platform game that pits you in the role of what is essentially a science experiment gone right. Or wrong, depending on your perspective. PTI has figured out a way to clone stealthy clones, and as such, your goal is to be the bestest, most sneakiest clone. Your brain's meager puzzle-solving abilities are challenged in the laboratory's test rooms, which are rather similar in form and function to Portal's test chambers. And, similarly, you're taunted by a sarcastic artificial intelligence whose primary function is to torment you by slapping glib, sardonic messages up on the wall every time you die. But having another Portal-style game is fine with me, and a downloadable indie title is the perfect way to sate that desire. Stealth Inc. 2 is clever enough and different enough from Portal that it never feels like a rip-off. Indeed, rather than Portals, the game's mechanics play with light and shadow, and keeping out of the line of sight of cameras and turrets. In that regard, Stealth Inc. 2 is sort of like a side-scrolling Splinter Cell, even down to the green goggles your character wears. Eventually, the game gives you various gadgets to play with. While the way to use these gadgets to complete a puzzle is initially very clear and straightforward, in later levels they need to be used in increasingly creative ways. Every element of Stealth Inc. 2 feels refined and well thought out. Movement is a little rubber bandy at times, by which I mean you can input a command and it will take a fraction of a second for your character on screen to actually respond. This can make a few test rooms feel slightly awkward and a little more complicated than they really are, because the 10th of a second can usually mean the difference between avoiding an enemy's line of sight and failing the puzzle, usually by dying. And you will die a lot. Or at least I did. But despite this, in the several hours I spent playing this game, I could count on one hand the number of times I encountered sections of puzzles that felt cheap, and being able to count to 5 seems like a pretty big accomplishment for someone who holds an art degree from a state university. Stealth Inc. 2 is a wonderful game and rather quite a bit of fun. It takes elements from other games and mashes them together in a unique and gratifying way. Plus, you can customize your character with a Viking helmet, and for that reason, I'm awarding this game the coveted rating of 3.5 clones. I'm the Popcorn Kernel. This is Stealth Inc. 2, a game of clones, and if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends, and stay tuned for a new episode every Tuesday at 4 PM Eastern Time.